Yeah, there were some that made some plays and did some good things. Some other guys, you can tell that it's been a while since they've sort of had some live game action. But overall, the thing that was encouraging to see, it obviously wasn't clean in terms of execution, but effort was there, and that was good. And that's what you got to start as a base foundation, playing hard. It was good to see them come up with a couple of those fourth down stops, blow up in the red zone, and so that's encouraging signs.
What was really JJ Reaver? Just how do you see him progress?
Yeah, he took a big step forward, I think, in that game, and I think he gained a lot of confidence from that game, which was good. He came in here. We talked about he had a really good. I thought he had a strong preseason camp, and then you throw in school and you throw in the full complement of the defense, and it just takes time to adjust and get there. He started to settle in and find his way and his groove, and he's got such great length, which helps him, and he really has a good burst. So we'll continue to work on his pad level, and as he grows in this defense, he's got a really bright future.
Where is Xavier at on the spectrum of guys that have kind of come along? How's he responded since he's come out kind of top students?
It's a process. It's still coming. It's still very much a process, and going through some growing pains there, and we'll just keep on plugging along.
With a young unit and taking on like an FCS team this week, do you have to sort of remind them a little more not to overlook a team like this heading into Saturday?
Well, no, I think we've gotten to a point where we understand our standard is our standard, and it doesn't matter, which opponent we're playing, and they know, and you hope they know, and they're well aware that there's good players across the country on every team at every level, and all you have to do is look at the NFL, and you see how many guys come from all kinds of programs and different walks of life and different levels. And so they've got some good players. They've got some good players at skill positions, that can stress you. And so if we don't play technique sound, if we don't play our brand of football, we're going to be in for a dogfight.
Mark and Eddie have talked about things they do defensively that can kind of get you out of sorts on offense. What do you see from them as a coordinator that they do well?
They're really fundamentally sound. You can tell that they're really well coached, and so much of that comes from continuity. And with their head coach being there as long as he has, and being as successful as he has for as long as he has, and they're really good. They mix some zone and gap scheme. They do some of the same principles that has helped a lot of these programs, ourselves included. With the GT schemes. They've got a really skilled receiver. I think 6 with the ball in his hand is going to be really dangerous. The backs have been really productive, and the quarterback understands how to distribute. He's actually a really good placer of the football. I like the way he throws his deep ball. He puts good loft on it. So we're going to have to go up. We're going to have to compete for those balls when they're in the air. We're going to have to do a good job up front. We try to create some early pressure and make him uneasy in that pocket.
Trey Jackson said yesterday that he thinks the space between teams all across the board in football is getting closer and closer.
Oh, the parities. The parity is. It doesn't matter, whether you're talking FBS, FCS, within a conference, different conferences, Group of 5, Power 5. There's so much parity, and I think so much has to do with, a lot of it in terms of recruiting and huddle. Is that you have access to every young man's film across the country. So where it used to be just little recruiting pockets and you'd have to know this certain area at any point, here in Kentucky we could watch a young man's film from California instantly because it just pops right to the internet. You don't have to wait for a DVD. You don't have to wait for a VHS tape. So the immediacy of that recruiting process allows every young man to be recruited, and every young man develops at a different rate and different level. And so some may be late bloomers, and the way the recruiting process is these days, where it's so sped up, some guys maybe get looked over, but it does not mean they're not good players. we have, obviously everybody thinks about Josh. So that's the way it goes. That's the way it's sort of always been. And there's always going to be those late bloomers that sort of find their niche, once they get into college. They just need that opportunity.
Jamin Davis got to play a lot with DeAndre down against Vanderbilt. What did you see from him?
I thought Jamin played a really solid game. Jamin, he has a really strong, obviously, arguably the best on our team in terms of a 6-inch punch and pop, and he plays with great pad level, plays with his feet underneath him, and I think he's gotten back to the level that we expected from him when he came out of spring. He had a really strong spring, and then he had to deal with some injuries during preseason camp that kind of just set him back, and it just took a little bit to get back to that level, but he's starting to play at that level again, which is really encouraging, and we need it.